Hey guys, this is Eggy with the Math Egghead program. In this video, we will go over the subtraction and addition problems that have to do with integers. I do have a couple of more videos that are a little longer that go into more depth of the actual topic, but in this one, this is going to be short and sweet. So let's try this. 3 plus 2. I want to do the number line, but instinctively we know that 3 plus 2 is obviously 5. But I want to show you on the number line how this would look so that going forward when we do practice problems, you will be able to navigate up and down the number line. So remember, 0 is always our starting point, and here we're just putting our negative numbers, which are on the left of 0, and positive numbers on the right. So right now we're going to start at 3. Now remember, we're adding a positive number. So we're going to the right of 0 where the numbers become bigger and you're adding a positive number. When you're subtracting, you go to the left of 0 or the left on the number line. Now there's a couple of other rules when you're dealing with the number line that I will also include in the video. So when we're adding, let's say here in this particular problem, 3 plus 2, we know that 3 plus, we already know plus, that's the addition. That's going to tell us how or where to go on the number line. And the number 2 is positive. We don't see a plus sign, but we assume that 2 is positive because if it's negative, it will have that symbol. So when you're adding a positive number, you keep going to the right of the number line or the right of 0. And when you're adding a negative number, you go to the left of 0. The opposite is if you're subtracting, you go to the left of 0 because you know to the left of 0, the numbers are getting smaller. Now, if you're if you're subtracting a positive number, you keep going to the left. If you're subtracting a negative number, you're going to go to the right. Now, I know that this might sound like a lot of information, but just pause the video, write this quick little notation down as far as the number line, and I promise we'll go over some practice problems and you will get the hang of this. This is going to become instinctual to the point that you won't even need the number line and you won't even have to think, okay, am I going to the left or right? You're going to know as soon as you see the plus sign, if you see the negative sign, if you see a negative number or a positive number, okay? But remember, in this problem, the addition sign is going to let us know that we're adding a number and we're going to the right, but then we have to look at the second number since it's positive. So we have to keep adding the positive number to the right side of 0 on the number line, okay? If you want, just pause, take a moment, write this down. And also, don't forget to like and subscribe and share these videos. And let me know if this digital pen and notepad is a little better when explaining these problems. I know I was doing a notebook and pen, and then I also did the dry eraser board. And a lot of you guys liked it, but I wanted to have more of a clear vision because I saw that a lot of people have positive things to say about the Khan Academy and organic chem videos that are out there, and I personally also use their videos to learn my chemistry and my physics. So let me know if this digital pen and notepad is better when explaining these for you, and let me know if the white background is distracting or it's fine. So let's start with another problem. I'm just going to write quickly on the corner so that we don't lose track, okay? So we already did 3 plus 2. Now, let's do 3 plus negative 2. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and change my pen really quickly. Now, we're adding, so we know that when we're adding, we're going to the right side of the number line, but this time it's a negative number. So look at the notation. When we're adding a negative number, we're going to the left of 0, or we're going to the left of the number. Remember, 0 is always a good starting point if you are lost. But in this case, we're starting at the number 3. We're adding, but we know we have to add a negative number, so we're going to the left. So we're going lower. The number's getting smaller. So it's 3 plus negative 2. Think of it like this. You have $3 and you're adding a negative 2. Another way of saying that is really 3 minus 2, because you're taking away, let's say you have $3 and you're subtracting $2. So you really are just going to have $1 left. You can always rewrite these problems too. I know a lot of students feel very comfortable. I just don't want you to get confused, because a lot of students do trip up when they start to rewrite the problems and then start to question themselves. When you get really comfortable with the multiplication and division, then you can go ahead and feel comfortable rewriting the problems, because that way you know the multiplication, like negative times negative is a positive, or positive times a negative is a negative, okay? But in this case, we did 3 plus negative 2. We know we had to add, but we were going to the left, okay? So let me just add that really quick. And let's go with 3 minus 2, something very simple that a lot of you guys know. Let me just change this here. 3 minus 2. So we know that obviously 3 minus 2 is 1, right? I just said that. 3 plus negative 2 is the same as 3 minus 2. But I want to show you on the number line how this looks. Again, we're subtracting. So on the number line, we're starting at 3. We know we're subtracting, so our direction is to the left. And the number is positive, so we're going to the left of the number. So we're still ending up at 1. There's so many ways you can analyze these problems. I just don't want you guys to, again, be over analytical when you're seeing a problem, okay? So just keep it simple. If you don't want to rewrite it, just read the problem left to right. What are you doing? You're reading the first number, tells you where you're starting. The subtraction or the addition sign tells you which way on the number line you're headed. Are you going to the left or you're going to the right? And then the second number will tell you which direction, it will confirm which direction you're really going, okay? So let's do this, 3 minus negative 2. Now, let's start on the number line. We know we're subtracting, so technically we're starting at the left, or we're going to the left. And we're subtracting a negative number. So we know when we're subtracting a negative number, we're going back to the right. So let's start at negative 3 minus negative 2. Now, who can tell me what's wrong in this picture? Did anyone notice that I made a mistake? 3 minus negative 2. Well, we know that 3 minus 2 is 1.
So the mistake here was you have to pay attention to the first number. The first number is a positive 3, not a negative 3. So you start at 3. We know we're subtracting, so usually we go to the left. But since we're subtracting a negative, we know that we have to go to the right. Because if you rewrite this, it's 3 plus 2, which is 5. Now the rule is when you are subtracting integers, you must rewrite the problem. So how you would rewrite it is the first number stays the same. You change the subtraction symbol into an addition, and the second number, you change it to the opposite. So here we have a negative 2, so it would become a positive 2. So technically, you would write 3 plus positive 2, and you know positives never have the positive symbol. But again, it's the way that you personally learn. It's the way that you personally feel comfortable. If you don't feel comfortable rewriting the problem, use the number line. Pay attention to the first number, the fact that if you're subtracting or adding, and the second number, is it a positive or is it a negative? You see how I showed you how someone could make a mistake, by starting at the negative number? Because a lot of people, when they teach this, they say the first number is insignificant or it's not something you should pay attention to, but that's incorrect. You need to pay attention to all the numbers in your function or your problem, okay? I'm just going to write here quickly when you're thinking about rewriting it. You see how it's negative times negative is a positive, or if it's two positives, if it's any symbol, right? Doesn't matter how many symbols you have. If all the symbols are the same, then obviously you have a positive answer. If any of the numbers in your equation have a different symbol, meaning if it's a negative or a positive, the whole answer becomes negative. Okay? So remember here, when you're subtracting integers, you should rewrite the problem, but if you want to visually see it first, then go ahead and use the number line, which there will guide you into what you're doing. Are you adding or are you subtracting? Where are you starting from? And which direction are you headed on the actual number line, okay? Let me just get rid of all of this so that we don't cause any more confusion. I am going to leave the information at the bottom as far as like when you're adding or you're subtracting. I'll leave that at the bottom so that you guys can kind of follow through with the practice problems, okay? So let me just write 3 minus negative 2 on the top so we don't lose track of which problems we're doing. Well, I don't lose track of what problem I'm doing. So let's see here. Why don't we do negative 3 minus negative 2? Let me rewrite that so that you guys can see clearly. And as you can see on the digital pen and pad, I thought that it would be very easy to write straight and just really neat, but it actually takes a lot of practice. So, okay, so negative 3 minus negative 2. If we were to rewrite that problem, we know the first number stays the same, the subtraction symbol turns into a positive, and the second number, we do the opposite. So it's negative 3 plus 2. But let's do this as in we are not rewriting this. We are going to do the number line. We start off at negative 3. We know the direction we're supposed to be headed, which is subtraction. So we know that we're starting on the left of 0. But we are subtracting a negative number. So we know that when we're subtracting a negative number, we're heading towards the right. So let me show you here. Let me just fix this really quick because I wanted you guys, to know exactly where I'm starting. So negative 3 minus a negative number. So we're heading towards the right. So negative 3 minus negative 2 is negative 1. Or if you were to rewrite it, negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. I hope you guys can see the way visually it is different when you write it, but essentially all these problems are in the same family, and this last problem, I wanted to show you that it's the same thing as if you were to rewrite it and put negative 3 plus 2 is the same thing as negative 3 minus negative 2. So let me just get rid of all of this. I've actually been practicing on just being really quick with the symbols and also with the erasing and changing my colors. But as you can see, it does take time. So I do apologize for that. Let me just get rid of all of this here. Have you guys ever worked with a digital pen and a pad? It's just, I mean, it's quicker, the upload. I can get videos to you guys faster. But you just have to learn how to navigate really quickly. All right, guys. So we went through 3 plus 2, 3 plus minus 2, 3 minus 2, 3 minus negative 2, and negative 3 minus negative 2. All the problems that we went through are right on the top of the screen on the right side corner. Now, let me just throw this in here. What's negative 3 plus 2? You can pause the video so that you guys can try. And let me draw this out. While you're practicing, I'm going to draw this number line so we can all visually see it. Now remember, the first number tells you where you start. The addition or subtraction symbol tells you which direction you're headed or what side of the 0 you're on. And then the second number will tell you which direction you're going. So here we have -3 plus 2. So we know that we're starting with a negative number. So we're going to be on the left side of 0. Remember, 0 is always our starting point. So 3, and then we're adding a positive number. So we're going to the right. So we're adding 2 spaces, 2 positive spaces. Remember, the plus sign will tell you which side of the 0 you're starting at. Excuse me. The first number should tell you where you're starting at. The plus and minus will tell you which way to go. And the second number will tell you how many spaces or which way also to go. Because when you're dealing with a positive or a negative number, it will switch up the direction you're supposed to head in, okay? So we know that -3 plus +2 is -1. We start at -3, we're adding a positive number, so we're going to the right. So we're going 2 spaces, and we know that it's -1. Same thing if we were to be adding same thing as if we were doing another way around. If it was 2 plus -3, that would be the same problem here, okay? Let me get rid of all of this, and let me add this at the corner, okay? Now, I wanted to see if there was maybe another way to show you guys, but I think we actually went through all the problems here. So if you made it through this video, let me add this problem here. -3 plus -2. Let's start with 2 negative numbers. We haven't done that. So let me show you that trick really quick on the number line here. Let me just get rid of everything because I told you that I'm getting familiarized with the actual digital pen and pad. So let's say we started here with -3 plus -2. Well, we know that we're starting at -3, so we're on the left side of 0. We're adding, so we know we're technically supposed to go to the right, but we're adding a negative number. So when you know you're adding a negative number and you're actually already on the left side, the rules are different. You're adding a negative number, so you're going to the left. So -3 plus -2 is 5. I want you to also know that when you're adding 2 integers with the same symbol, meaning if they're both positive or they're both negative, you can add as normal and just copy the symbol. Make sure you do not lose the symbol. Don't forget to subscribe and like my videos. Feel free to share and leave a comment below. See you in the next video.